Hey there, Reverend Sully, Eric O'Sullivan, ordained on the internet. The caveat, as always, please do not burn your hands holding on to my hot takes. If you do, well, that's on you, pal. If it's Saturday, that means it's time for my Saturday Star Wars hot take. Hey, you know why? Because YouTube needs another Star Wars channel like Boston needs another Irish bar. And that's why I'll talk about Star Wars all day, but only on Saturday. Today, one thing I like to do is to um, take the pieces that we've been given in the awful Disney sequel trilogy and to try to do something with it. I'm going to just elaborate on that theme just a little bit. I've done all the other major characters, Finn, Rey, Kylo Ren. Today, I want to talk just a little bit about Poe Dameron. You know, when it started back in The Force Awakens, before we knew what the whole bait and switch and the whole getting finagled, and before the last effing Jedi and the mother joke, and before the horrible rudderless Rise of Skywalker, in my humble opinion, crapped on Poe's story, we had a really decent flyboy, an X-wing pilot who was one of the best X-wing pilots, in the tradition of Wedge Antilles, in my humble opinion. There was that scene in The Force Awakens where they're on Maz Kanata's planet. I don't even care to remember right now the name. But you saw Black Leader coming in with that really wicked pissa looking X-wing. To me it was as cool as the Trans Am and Smokey and the Bandit. It was just so unique and so cool. And BB-8. But you had Poe Dameron flying in, taking out one TIE fighter after the other. And it was so cool. It got me, into playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I was addicted to Starfighter Assault. And I also played Star Wars Squadrons for a little while too, which was strictly original trilogy. But let's keep it to Poe. Poe originally is a great character. He grew up on Yavin 4, in the shadow of the temple. His parents were G1 rebels, and I'm not going to purport to know much about his story. I did not read the books or the new Disney Canon books. I just couldn't be bothered. But what I did, though, I picked up the Marvel comics. Now, these are from early 2016 and written by Charles Soule, who got himself fired for his toxicity on Twitter. He was a decent Star Wars creator, but, but also art by Phil Noto, who is amazing. He's got photorealism. He's a really great artist. I love Phil Noto's work. And I got the first 7 issues of this the Marvel series here. This is probably the furthest I've got with supporting the whole misguided Lucasfilm Story Group and what they tried to do with canon. Actually, I one time reached out to Leland Chee, the leader of the story group, and asked him about what's up with the novelizations of the movies, and are they still canon? And he tried to convince me that, oh no, we're making room for new stories and going forward. I got the tweet saved somewhere. But Del Rey Publishing, in their infinite wisdom, kept the novelizations of all 6 movies, the prequels and the original trilogy, and kept it intact. And I thank you, Del Rey, for having better Star Wars sense than the actual story group, who tried really hard. No, they didn't. To to create this new continuity and the new story. The thing about Star Wars and the original expanded universe was that all the stories mattered to each other, that it created continuity. As opposed to, say, the pocketbooks from Star Trek. Those were all just basically just adventures and one-shots. One basically didn't have much to do with the other until later on they started getting interrelated with arc. But originally, most of the Star Trek books were just have your adventure, have your story, leave it the way you found it, and move on. Star Wars, on the other hand, from the beginning, and Lucas Books in the early 90s insisted on this interconnected continuity. And that's what we now call legends. So Story Group tried to usurp that by claiming that with the new Disney ownership, that everything in the expanded universe was now legends, not canon anymore. Yet they continually go back and cherry pick it for the best stuff, and which is kind of interesting. But Poe Dameron, let's get back to him and finish this up. His entire character arc was ruined in The Rise of Skywalker, and we can fix him by ignoring it. We can ignore actually the Disney trilogy altogether, but Poe magically somehow became a smuggler somewhere in his backstory, which doesn't fit even in the awful Disney canon, just to make some kind of angle, to give him some kind of toughness or something. But he would never had that, not even in these early stories. See, that was just made up for that one movie. They couldn't even respect their own continuity. It was that bad and that badly handled. So how to fix Poe Dameron? Ignore everything. Just say, hey, Poe's a heck of an X-Wing pilot. And he's a hero. And he's Finn's friend. And he became Rey's friend. And that's about it. I mean, the only way to fix Poe is to maybe just ignore the whole Disney trilogy whatsoever. As I'm fond of saying now, there are only 6 Star Wars movies. And that's the story I'm sticking to. And that's the story I'm going to stick with. Heck, I did not even buy a copy of The Rise of Skywalker to complete my shelf. I'm going to get a copy of the holiday special on DVD, a bootleg, because that's more worthy to me than finishing the Disney trilogy, which is just awful. It doesn't matter. And, well, that's all I got today for my Star Wars hot take. It's Star Wars Saturday. And so that's what I do on Saturdays. Talk about Star Wars. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, Poe Dameron. I mean, I'm with Oscar Isaac, who is Guatemalan American. And he was very proud to be the first Latino in space and the first Latino in Star Wars. But what they did to his character, by the end of it, I mean, that was just lazy, but it's consistent with what they gave us. So I'm all for Oscar Isaac. I love him as an actor, and I loved seeing him in Star Wars. And I thought he was great, and he made those movies better. It's just a shame that what they did to his character, what they did to Johnny Boyega's character. And, we all know that Daisy Ridley was a self-insert for Kathleen Kennedy the entire time. That's all I got for Star Wars for today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like what I had to say. I hope I get a lot of thumbs down for saying something nice about the Disney trilogy. I deserve it. Leave a comment in the comment section if you could, if you want to continue this conversation. And give me a subscribe if you can. I try to make positive content about pop culture. I go on occasional rants. That's just called being balanced. I also do spirituality and theology, and I am a professional chef. I have home cooking hacks for you to improve your game at home, to impress your friends, families, and loved ones with healthy, nutritious, delicious, and beautiful food. Come on board to Reverend Sully's channel. Thank you so much, and may the Force be with you. Do, 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 do. Bum, 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 bum. Ha ha, cheers.